Hi, my name is Nathan, and today we're going to do a comic book review of Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, issue number 1, brought to you by RatedComics. Let's get to it. Normally, you're not supposed to judge a comic book by its cover, but based on this comic book's cover, man, I judged and I picked it up. I'm just saying, let's be real. I'm just going to be honest over here. So we begin this issue with Sheena waking up in a very upscale hotel room. It's hot outside. From what she's not wearing shows that it's hot outside. Her head hurts. She's wondering where she is. We get a brief flashback. Now, I did not read any of the previous issues of Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, or any previous issues of Sheena, but we get a brief flashback of her being in the jungle, and then she looks up in the sky, and the mist knocks her out cold. And then she gets out the bed, appearing to open the door, and our girl Sheena got some cake on her. Not to mention, I did notice the editor notes on there. Now, she's met by Cardwell Industries escort, Mr. Ransom, and she is asked to be escorted to headquarters. I did not know this, and for those who do not know, Sheena's birth name is Rachel Rivington Cardwell, and although she's not wanting to associate with that name given the corporate wealth of her deceased parents, her name still carries weight. And when she opens a window, she's also pissed that this previous swampland turns into industrialized commercial land with cars flying and jobs and industry, and she's just like upset about it because she wants to preserve nature. From a character standpoint, you gotta respect that. And given this girl's rawness, she just opens the door and these guards are uncomfortable, like, all right, we're all over her cordial now, take me to the headquarters if that's what you're gonna do. And these guards are like, I don't know what to do about all this, boss. So they get her changed in this suit, looking all corporate and stuff, and she calls these clothes restrictive, and she hates it. To read the beginning of the story, I wasn't really feeling it because you got to know the previous issues. You get used to it after just going through the pages, and there's some editor notes on there, but I would have liked to see maybe a little bit more backstory because I don't know how long it's been since the last issue. If it's been a year, I think you got to introduce a little bit of the backstory because there's a lot of comics that came out in that time span, and we got to get reacquainted with these things, right? And also, it would have helped bring new readers and old readers up to speed. Now, when she gets to Cardwell Industries, you know, the reception's like, good morning, what can I do for you? And I love her response, Sheena's response with, I would like to witch who defiles Mother Forest from a distance with a smile and a pencil. And Mr. Ransom clarifies, saying, it's Rachel Rivington Cardwell here to see Mrs. Jeffries. Oh, to the penthouse! Go into the small cage elevator, you girl. So she gets up to the 60th floor, and she is pissed as she sees Miss Jeffries. And Miss Jeffries like, apologies, you know, but I'll explain everything. Lights. And before even the explanation can begin, she's already got a bodyguard in submission and already cracked him down. This just goes to show this girl's a total badass, not to mention compassionate with the environment. And you gotta respect that. But she's also no nonsense and empathetic as well. Now she plays on the screen about this rainforest on Earth in the biodome constructed by Cardwell Industries, how it's beautiful. There's the only nature reserve on the planet where endangered species from every corner of the globe can be protected and maintained, handpicked by elite zoologists and all that kind of stuff. Long story short, she's trying to show Sheena that the corporation is committed to preserving the nature it's been accused of destroying by creating the world's largest biodome as a nature preserve for endangered species. Jeffries explains that a group of eco-tourists lost communication during a tour of the biodome, and now it's a search and rescue team, and they want Sheena to go in and help find them and see if they're alive. Now, obviously, Sheena's like, heck no, why would I help? You spent money to destroy the forest. Now you spent more money to build this dome. Give me one good reason why I should help you. And Jeffrey's like, well, that question you asked, where your friends at, where your animal friends at? Well, for starters, your animal friends who you keep asking for, we sent them in that biodome for safekeeping. That right there is enough to convince Sheena to go on this mission. Given her character, I think it's plausible for the sake of storytelling. I'm gonna say it's plausible. So in the helicopter, she tells him, you know, I wanna get in, get out, see who's killing the patrons and these animals and figure it out. We're over the drop zone, ma'am. Light is green. That thing you hear in your ear will allow us to stay in communication with you at all times if you don't break it. And then she's like, man, if I gotta endure your voice nagging in my ears, then I most certainly will. So she jumps off the plane, parachutes up. As she lands, Dynamite, why you gotta thirst trap the boys like that? God has freed me from them's binding. No, the boys are like, please, more binding, please. But anyway, so she lands on the ground and she gets a pose. Once again, Dynamite, why are you doing this to us? Where you gonna be at on Valentine's Day? Anyways, jokes aside, now she's beginning her recognizance of the area. Ransom is in her ear. Give him hell. You're looking at things, so tell me what you find. You're my eyes and ears on this thing. We need communication here. So first thing Sheena notices, wow, inside this dome, it smells weird. Everything feels weird, real. And Ransom's like, well, we had the finest geologists and horticulturists that money can buy that designed that environment. She's like, well, of course you did, because it smells like gasoline, grease, and human sweat from all the aromas. I mean, it's nature, but it's paid for nature, I guess you want to call it that. And then she asks, well, how large is this place? It's pretty large. Is that a glass box? Well, it's a dome. It's not glass. It's high density reinforced polymer composite. It's cutting edge. So first thing Sheena notices is that these people are missing. I don't see any blood yet. So Ransom tells her more about the biodome. She's kind of like, okay, well, it's kind of genius, but it's not genius to spend money to destroy a forest and then spend more money to make a polymer composite bottled version of a forest. And as Sheena says she's approaching the location where you lost your team, stand by, she sees this sign, this figurine and sticks, and she's like, this is very curious. And it's a symbol of one of the Lacono tribe. That symbol warns of consequence. And she's like, roger that, what the heck is it doing here? Well, there was a Haitian woman listed among the missing patrons, and our research said that that symbol is Haitian, not of what you're saying. The missing patron is Beatrice Toussaint, a conservative presumed dead. And Sheena's like, well, judging by the evidence, your presumption's correct. Look at that car right there. And then Sheena notices the camera in the forest and the biodome. She's like, all these eyes in the sky, or these artificial eyes in the jungle, you didn't see what was happening. And Ransom tells her, we just can't fathom what the heck it is. It moved by incredibly fast. So as she's going in, she sees another strange symbol, not Lacono, and they run it through the database that it isn't Lacono or Haitian. It looks like the Navajo, an indigenous people in North America. And then Sheena asks, well, were the Navajo amongst the tourist group? And then as he's looking in there, she does realize, wait, something's approaching. So she uses her super quick reflexes to climb up onto the tree. She's like, something big is approaching, and it's just a stampede of terrified elephants. And Sheena's like, I'm afraid that symbol's more than disturbed, Ransom, so I can't look into it no more. So there goes our evidence. Ransom's asking, what the heck was big enough to spook those elephants? I mean, they're big, right? And Sheena tells him, well, look, man, size may not have nothing to do with it at all. Even the largest beasts flee from bees. So Sheena asks while she's next to monkeys and a snake, where are my friends at? And Ransom's like, forgive me if I missed the humans are my priority part. You'll know more about your friends when I know more about what went on over here. So she sees another symbol, and according to the database, it's Haitian equivalent voodoo, the Haitian woman, so they're deducing that it might be her and she could still be alive. But when Sheena goes over there, she sees his arm just dismembered and broken and mauled, and they're like, what the heck did this, and by what? And Sheena's like, look, this is a mauling thing, and what the heck is going on here, Ransom? And Ransom's like, there isn't a predator in that dome capable of that level of carnage. And Sheena notices that if they're eco-terrorists, then why were they expecting the war? Why is there a firearm here? Ransom tells her that could only be from the rescue party we sent in after them. And I love this predator thing right here, where it's just looking in red, kind of like body heat or whatnot. It reminds me of Predator, which is why this book to me feels like Jurassic Park mixed with Predator, mixed with Hunger Games, because you're hunting, you got an attractive woman on the hunt, but she's skilled, smart, a total badass, and she's empathy, but unapologetic at the same time. And then Sheena's like, wait a minute, does this park contain wolves? Yes, but the wolves are in the temperature climate zone. You're in the tropical zone, so they shouldn't be here. And Sheena's like, okay, well, the wolves seem to disagree with that. One thing that shows Sheena's character is she does not want to kill the wolves unless she absolutely has to. Even though they're threatening her life right now, she has the capability and the maneuvering to duck and dodge. So these wolves snarl, they see what's up, and they ran away. And she's like, thank God, they're running away. And she's like, well, I don't think things are in order. She sends something. And they're like, and she deduces those wolves are not running away because what they have here is an abandoned prize of a meal. But whatever is in there, it's a beast that is unruly, terrifying, malicious, and he has every intent on killing Sheena. And we find out what this beast is, what happened to the tourist group and the eco-tourist group. And I got to leave it, well, I didn't leave no meat on the bone. But with that being said, this book was fun. Even though I have a little missing of the story with the beginning of this book because I did not read the previous issues of Sheena. I thought when I saw issue number 1, hey, this is the beginning of an original story. Not to mention, when I saw this cover, I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna put that cover down. I'm gonna review this. With that being said, Sheena, issue number 1, Queen of the Jungle. What you guys think of the comic book? Comment below, let me know. And also, if you'd like to purchase this comic book, link in description. If you like the content we're throwing up, you know what to do. Don't be shy, don't be stingy. Here at Rated Comics, we do awesome comic book reviews, comic book related content with the occasional comic book giveaway. Thanks again for watching. Until next time.